this is my response video for Module 3. So the first question is, what is the purpose of each of the plans? So for the IEP, it's designed for one student and is a personalized / individual document that specifies, or that's for that specific student, and it creates an opportunity for teachers, schools, and parents and other related personnel and students to have a chance to work together to improve the educational results for children with disabilities. The second one for IFSP, it's a written plan that was developed by a team to record the family's outcomes and of themselves and their child, and it helps families with all the important information, concerns that they may have, and additional resources to help. It goes into more depth about the plan on pacer.org under the IFSP tab, which is one of the websites that was given to us for the content, curriculum, and all that junk. The third one is BIP, and that's a plan that is designed to teach and reward positive behaviors. Its main focus is to prevent problem behaviors that may occur in the classroom. So, like, if a student is misbehaving in the classroom, teachers or team will put this plan together in hopes of getting them back on track and helping that student stay out of trouble while in the classroom. And the last one is ITP, and it's a section of the IEP that focuses on transition goals and services of the student with the disability. So, yeah. So the second question says, when should the plans be utilized? So I said they should either be used almost immediately, whenever like the child sets foot in the classroom. These plans should have been put into works already, with the exception of the BIP, just because it's not really needed until a problem occurs in the classroom with the child and has been identified and will be taken care of by the BIP. So the third question says, what are major components of the plan? So for the IEP, it focuses on the child's strengths, the parents' ideas of enhancing education, advancing toward annual goals, and then participation in extracurricular activities and other stuff along those lines. I wrote a few instead of the whole thing because I felt like y'all get the gist, y'all know what we're talking about. So for the IFSP, I said it's what the child needs to learn according to what the parents recommend. What help is needed for the child, like if they need help with something specifically, like that's what that's talking about, I believe. And then that leads into the next one, areas that may need more support. So say they're struggling in like motor skills or something, the teacher would need to focus on that more and focus on helping that child build up that specific skill. And then who the parents want on the IFSP team. So like what professionals they would prefer for their child based upon the diagnosis that was given to their child. So if they have problems with like speaking or communicating with others, that would be like a speech pathologist, I believe. So for the BIP, I said, you're finding the purpose of the problem behavior for the child. And then what does the child gain from being like misbehaving? And then observing the child and finding out what triggers the problem. That's always good. And then creating a BIP for the child when needed. For the last one, for ITP, I said the student's preferences, interests, strengths, and needs. It focuses on annual goals for the child, participants for the specific goals, so people that will help that child achieve those goals that they set. And then responsibilities of a parent and the student. So for the fourth question, it says, who participates in the establishment or review of the plan and what's its purpose? So for the IEP, it's the regular education teacher, special education teacher, related service provider, and any other service provider. And this is all according to the document that was titled A Guide for IEP. So they each need to know their specific responsibilities for carrying out that child's IEP. So they each need to know like what their specific job is and like how they're going to use that to help the child with that specific plan. For the IFSP, the parents and the IFSP team will discuss the services, and the child's needs, and then we'll pick people accordingly to help with that specific plan as well. For the BIP, it's the IEP and teachers determine the cause of the behavior and then set it in a BIP. And then the ITP, schools create a team that includes other government and public service organizations. They try to make sure the students have a smooth transition into adulthood. Okay, so for the fifth question, it says, what are the major time periods, ages, or dates associated with each of the plans? So for the IEP, it's 14 and up or younger if it's determined appropriate by the IEP team. For the IFSP, it's children can start at the age of 2, but it would be home to base, so it usually begins at age 3. For the BIP, they can start at any age, but they lean more towards 3 or 4 because of the classroom environment. And then for the ITP, it says that most of them should have one at the age of 16, so any age before that, they can have it. For the sixth question, it says, how often are each of these plans reviewed? For the IEP, it's at least once a year. The IFSP, once a year, which is also known as the annual evaluation. For the BIP, it's regularly and adjusted over time. And then for the ITP, it's once a year until they're 18. For the last question, it says, what are SMART goals and why should they be used? So I said they are realistic, relevant goals and objectives that address the child's unique needs that result from the disability that they've been diagnosed with. It keeps the child on track and on a schedule that allows teachers and others to monitor the student's progress throughout the year. So for my question for y'all is, how do you think these specific plans impact the students and their learning in the classroom? So like, how do you feel these goals affect the students' learning, and do you think it affects the students' learning at all? Bye, y'all.